A caller into David Pakman's show floated an interesting name for the 2020 presidential race that I wanted to briefly touch on. Now, I generally and genuinely don't like the 2020 speculation game this far out, but there's a reason why we're going to discuss this issue today, and I'll get to it, but let's watch.
You think Al Franken would be a good candidate for the 2020 election?
I think that it is too early to talk about 2020, and no, I don't think he would be. I mean, I think that, I don't think so. I think that I like Al Franken a lot. I think that he is someone who has actually been one of the stronger progressive voices in the Senate, up there with some of the more progressive senators. But I think that political viability for Al Franken is a tough thing. But if Trump won, who am I to say, Pat, that Al Franken couldn't win?
Right. Do you oppose Al Franken because of his former celebrity status, being an SNL guy?
I mean, listen, on the politics of it, I think Al Franken is a great candidate. Do I think that he's the best person to be put forward by the Democratic Party in 2020? I don't think so. Maybe I could be swayed, but I think we've got to focus on 2018 right now anyway.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Appreciate it. Interesting noises on that call.
Yeah.
I don't know what that was a very, very odd noise.
I'm just thinking now about what the debates would be like between Donald Trump and Al Franken. I mean, for entertainment value alone, I think those would rank very high.
They would.
So we are focusing on 2018, justicedemocrats.com/fight. We're walking the walk and talking the talk, and we're trying to get rid of the corporate Democrats to give the Democratic Party overall a better chance of winning and beating Republicans and getting an actual populist left agenda implemented. But having said that, here's why I wanted to touch on the 2020 thing right now. There's a group of candidates who are the bubble boys, as I'll call them. So in other words, you have the corporate Democrats who are just really, really corporate. It's in the name. So they, believe it or not, actually have a decent chance of losing to Donald Trump, even given his 60% unfavorability rating and, you know, all the fucking problems in the world. Yes, I get it. I know he's doing a horrible job. Nobody makes that case more often and more clearly than I do. But it's still possible to lose to him. And if you don't think so, remember, everybody thought Hillary Clinton was going to win, and she lost. So now it's easy to see again. People say, oh, yeah, no, Donald Trump's definitely going to lose, and then he wins. So the corporate Democrats, you know, we've gone through them before, but you have Cory Booker. Kamala Harris is another one. Massive corporate Democrat, but she's put on a good progressive mask, if you will. But she didn't, for example, prosecute Steve Mnuchin. She is the Attorney General of California. Steve Mnuchin illegally foreclosing on grandmas across the state. She didn't prosecute him, even though her own office recommended, hey, you should prosecute this guy. So Kamala Harris, Cory Booker, Tim Kaine, who just said the other day, right before Trump announced it, I want to escalate in Afghanistan. Of course, for TPP, all that stuff. Hillary Clinton, her too. Like, these are the people who are the corporate Democrats who, yes, can lose again, okay? Then you have the Democrats who will win. Even though Bernie will be 1,000 years old, Bernie Sanders can win. Elizabeth Warren. Progressives have had our issues with her, justifiably, but in a race against Donald Trump, I think that's an issue where even people who are very purist would have no problem pulling the lever for that lesser of two evils. While Hillary was a bigger evil, so it may have been harder for some people, Elizabeth Warren is a significantly less evil, and people will go, I'll put aside my differences and I'll vote for her. I think Elizabeth Warren would beat Donald Trump. But then there's the bubble boys. The bubble boys are the ones who are corporate Democrats, but just a lesser degree of corporate Democrat than somebody like a Hillary Clinton or a Tim Kaine. Al Franken is one of the bubble boys. So Al Franken, corporate Democrat, sure. But he's also done some genuinely good things and fought for some genuinely good things. And here's the X factor with Al Franken. In a straight up, like, likability contest and a can you handle him contest with Donald Trump, Al Franken wins 10 out of 10 times. Al Franken was a comedian. Okay? Now, people might laugh at that, but ha ha ha, okay, what are you doing in politics? But Donald Trump is a reality star. And Al Franken is quicker on his feet. He's more witty. He can get more laugh lines. That kind of X Factor element that Donald Trump brought to the table, where it's like, ooh, what's he going to say next? And ooh, isn't this wild? This guy's winning. And he was like, let's face it, among Marco Rubio and Jeb Bush and fucking Ted Cruz, Donald Trump was the only one on stage with a personality. Even if it was a gross one, he had a personality. Al Franken's got a hell of a lot of personality. And in a one-on-one debate with Donald Trump, yes, I think Al Franken would win hands down. So still a corporate Democrat, but not to the same degree as somebody like Hillary Clinton or Cory Booker, but also just much more likable than somebody like Trump and can handle him in a debate. And another person who I would consider a bubble boy, somebody like Andrew Cuomo. So Andrew Cuomo, I think he can handle a guy like Trump in a debate, but he's a guy who disbanded an ethics board that was looking into corruption as soon as they started looking into his corruption. He tried to criminalize BDS, boycott, divestment, and sanctions. Now, the good things he did is he pushed for free college and announced the plan with Bernie Sanders, proposed in New York. He increased the minimum wage. He did some good gun regulation in the wake of Sandy Hook. So, done some genuinely good things, but some horrible things. So he's still a corporate Democrat, but I think he can win in the debates and like actually have a decent chance of winning, even despite some of his shittiness. So those are the bubble boys. I think the race with Trump would be most interesting with one of the bubble boys. I mean, I'd prefer to not have a bubble boy and to have... I have to stop saying the words bubble boy. I think it'd be much better with somebody who would beat him hands down, clearly. But if it's a race against a corporate Democrat, I might be one of the few voices out here, like the full corporate Democrats, I might be one of the few voices that says, I think Trump is going to win again. But if it's a bubble boy and it's a coin toss... that'll be fucking interesting, man. That'll be an interesting race. So, buckle up. But here's the downside and the word of caution. 80 to 90% of the people who are being floated as 2020 names against Trump are names that could lose to him. So, be afraid. Be very afraid.